Why did the Habsburg dynasty collapse? Quick plug, like and share. Now the short answer is genetic collapse. The long answer is that in adherence to a policy, limpieza de sangre, long after it had become visually detrimental, saw the slow but steady decline in the ability of the rulers to father legitimate heirs. The Habsburgs were a royal family that rose to power by intermarrying with other noble families. When the males of the family died off, the closest male relatives, who were often the Habsburgs, would inherit their titles. As they rose to power this way, they were well aware that the same could happen to them, so they treated their marriages like money, keep it in the family. Best exemplified by the Spanish king, Charles II Habsburg, who was given the title of El Hechizado, or the Bewitched. His father married his sister's daughter. Of his 28 ancestors, 7 of them, Philip I of Castile, Joanna the Mad, Isabella of Portugal, Anne of Bohemia and Hungary, Christian II of Denmark, Albert V, Duke of Bavaria, and Francis I, Duke of Lorraine did not marry a direct relative. Meaning that 21 of them were either uncles marrying their nieces, or they were first or second cousins marrying each other. Charles the Accursed died at 38 years, never producing an heir, which resulted in the War of the Spanish Succession, as he declared his grandnephew, the grandson of the French king, Philippe of Anjou, as his heir. Charles's half-sister, Maria Theresa, was also married to the King of France, Louis XIV. When they performed the autopsy on the Spanish king, it said he, quote, did not contain a single drop of blood, his heart was the size of a peppercorn, his lungs corroded, his intestines rotten and gangrenous, he had a single testicle, black as coal, and his head was full of water. He was, quote, short, lame, epileptic, senile and completely bald before 35, always on the verge of death but repeatedly baffling Christendom by continuing to live. And this is the most significant one, quote, we are dealing with a man who died of poison 200 years before he was born. If birth is a beginning, of no man was it more true to say that in his beginning was his end. From the day of his birth they were waiting for his death. This policy of repeated inbreeding saw not only the end of the Spanish line, but the Austrian line, allowing the Bourbons to inherit Spain, while the Habsburg-Lorraine line inheriting Austria. The entire family was a diseased tree, barely holding itself together for over 2 centuries, until it finally collapsed under its own weight.